Hello guys, welcome back. I made this video to help you find meaning in your life because this is a question that we often return to, especially when we're trying to make the best version of ourselves out of our current situation. This is a question that we often ask ourselves, or at least should be asking ourselves. So this is a few things that you probably already know, but might need to be reminded of, okay? Because they say we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. And so follow with me as we go through this presentation. It'll be quite quick, and you'll be able to maybe get recentered on the things that can bring you meaning in your life. So let's just get right into the introduction, okay? So pursuing happiness. Understand the connection between happiness and meaningful goals. When you understand your why you're doing something, then when you start pursuing a goal, it can actually bring you happiness. A lot of people pursue so many goals, but they're not actually attached to something that is really inherently meaningful to them. And so what ends up happening? They get to the end of a 1, 5, 10-year goal, and they're not really happy because it wasn't really aligned with their deepest self. Okay? So next, engaging fully. Discover the value of immersive activities. We're going to talk about this a little bit here in this presentation, obviously, as this is just the introduction, but you may have heard of a thing called flow state. It's the state that you get in when you kind of forget that time is even a thing, okay? It's this place where you are looking at, you're doing something, you're engaged in something that is not too difficult, because when it's too difficult, it gets frustrating, but not too easy, because when it's too easy, it gets boring, right? Next is creating purpose. Exploring ways to bring purpose into everyday life. So this might just be journaling. This might just be reflecting and being like, you know what, this one thing that happened to me earlier in the day, this was a really good thing, and I just want to indulge in it further by writing it down and capturing it in a notebook, okay? Next is embracing growth. See how challenges can enhance personal fulfillment. So many people think that failure and success are like opposite directions. You either have failure or you have success, but really, failure is every single step along the way until you get to that last one, which is then called success. So you have to understand that challenges, right, where you think you've fallen and it's difficult to get back up, when you do get back up, that's what will bring you personal fulfillment. Because what you'll find is when you get to that last step, you see and you look back, you see the whole journey, and you realize that every single failure was not actually a bad thing. It was a good thing that brought you fulfillment if you persist and keep going. Okay? And then last here is nurturing connections. Learn why relationships are key to meaning. Guys, if you're trying to live this like solo ghost mode life, yeah, there's times for that. But if you do it for your entire life, you'll learn that really it's very hard to find meaning when you're completely alone and you're not doing anything for the sake of anyone but yourself. Okay, so defining your compass. So how do we kind of figure out how to get to these things? So identify core values. This is a really big thing in business. You'll hear it a lot. Core values. A lot of big companies will, have them bright front and center, their core values, but clarify what truly matters to you. Now, this takes time. This sounds like fluff, but it's really hard to do. What actually matters to you? Do you want to be a father? Do you want to be a mother? What do you want to be, do you want to do these things? Do you actually want to start a company? So many people that think they want this massive company, they really just want validation. So is it and by the way, not all of them, but a lot of them, okay? And so it's like if you can get validation from certain key people in your life and you really realize, okay, that's what matters to me, then you might not need to go, like I said earlier, and go through this long journey of things where they're not that important to you, but you pursue them anyway because you set your mind on this 5, 10-year goal, and you get to the end and it just wasn't fulfilling because you didn't clarify what matters to you. Okay? Set resonant goals. So choose goals that reflect your personal purpose. So this kind of ties in back to the first thing, but whatever you feel like you're on earth to do, and by the way, that's not something that's discovered. That is something that's developed. Okay. It's not something that you just kind of turn over a rock one day and there it is. There's your purpose. No, you need to actually like take the time, like I said in that first point, to really figure out what matters to you and then choose goals that actually align with that. Okay. And then long-term vision. So create a vision for the future that excites and guides you. The hardest thing about selecting where you want to go in the future, the hardest thing is that it simultaneously tells our subconscious, that we are not infinite. We don't live forever. We don't last forever. We need to pick a direction. We need to pick where we're going. And that can be really scary. But the people that don't pick, they're the ones that end up in the most terror because they didn't end up going anywhere. It is true. The bad news is you have only really one path to walk. But the good news is that if you choose it, it'll be the most fulfilling thing that you do. So you need to find something, a long-term vision that actually excites you. Okay? If you're not excited to build a massive company, or you're not excited to become an actor or an amazing skateboarder or play the guitar or whatever it is, then don't do it. Don't do it for other people, seriously, because you'll realize this too late. And this is why I'm telling this to you right now. Hopefully while you're a little bit younger than you will be. Well, of course. Okay? So entering the flow zone. Find absorbing activities. So engage in tasks where time flies. There's things that you do where time just disappears. Now, one caution I will give you is some people will say, oh, this is video games for them. And I thought that too when I was a little bit younger. But there is a distinction to be made between things that are really engaging because you happen to really enjoy them and things that are themselves designed to prey on all the mechanisms in your brain that will just keep you kind of like artificially engaged for a long time, right? So that's a little bit more of an advanced thing to consider, but it is really important to find tasks and find things that you like where time flies. And honestly, maybe video games is one of those things for you. It's just worth having that distinction. Okay, next is challenge yourself. Choose tasks that push your limits for growth. So like I said before, you can't have anything that's too easy, but you can't have anything that's too difficult, but you need something right in the middle. And that has to be a bit of both, right? It has to be something that you can achieve, but it is challenging. Challenge yourself because that's where you grow, right? Think about being at the gym. We grow through resistance training. It's called resistance training. You can't just do it with no resistance and expect to grow. You won't. And then limit distractions, okay? Cultivate a focused environment for optimal flow. You have to be intentional with your time because if you're trying to multitask, the reality is both of those tasks are only getting maybe 5-10% of what they could have had if you just did one at a time. So you need to cultivate a focused environment for optimal flow because you're not in optimal flow, right? If you're not actually focused. And it can take 10, 20, sometimes 25, 30 minutes to really, really, really get focused. But once that focus is broken, it's really hard to get it back. So you need to cultivate a focused environment, a place where you sit down and do things that you enjoy, right? And you're just zoned out, right? Or zoned in, however you want to look at it. You just allow what you're choosing to be focused on to fully penetrate your consciousness. Okay? Growing through challenges. So let's expand on this. Seek mastery. Dedicate yourself to developing skills that matter to you. Again, this is going to always go back to what matters to you. And if you want to achieve these goals, the reality is that you're going to need the skills of the person who would achieve those goals. And that comes in time. That comes through going through the stages of challenge, like I mentioned, and then eventually hitting success. So dedicate yourself to developing these skills. If you actually want to be a good guitar player, you're going to need to understand chords. You're going to need to know more and more challenging songs so that you can continue to improve. Okay, so you need to develop the skills. And again, I'll remind you what I said at the beginning. You know a lot of this stuff. This is just all conveniently put into one video so that you can just hear it again. And it can just be put to you in a way that you might need this given to you regularly, right? And you can add this video to a playlist or watch it whatever you want. But the point is that this is to remind you of things in case you've lost your way and you want to find meaning in your life again. Okay, embrace struggles. View challenges as steps forward towards personal breakthroughs. So I'm going to keep repeating this over and over and over because so many people, they hit a snag and they think, okay, this isn't for me. But if you really identify why this thing in the end matters to you, then you're going to keep pushing through these challenges. And it's crucial that you do. Set incremental goals. Small wins can build momentum and confidence. So again, only an idiot takes a big goal and says, okay, I have no checkpoints along the way. It's like, let's actually use video games as an analogy because I'm sure a lot of my audience has played video games before, at least understands them, right? Many people don't go from, where you have your cloth armor and your wooden sword all the way to like facing the dragon at the end, right? There's these checkpoints along the way where you slowly level up and level up and level up, and you don't always make it through all of those. In fact, you very rarely make it through all of those checkpoints without dying once, right? It happens where you hit challenges. And so you need to set incremental goals because if you consider that you've failed, if you haven't made it through in the first pass without any checkpoints, you're going to lose momentum and you're going to lose motivation. And so you need to set small goals. Okay, building meaningful connections. Deepen relationships. Invest in relationships that bring joy and support. Look, if you like spending time with someone and you think they're a good person for you, then deepen that. Use really strategic tools to make sure that you deepen your relationship. Now, what might this look like? It might look like, every second Friday you get together with your boys and whatever you do, you have your chat, you go out for a drink, you go out for a meal, you go out for a walk, right? Even a phone call, even if you're both walking, you're both on the phone call, right? Just have something that you can consistently deepen your relationship, especially if it's one that brings you joy and support. Because if you keep nourishing and nourishing and nourishing, you'll see that it keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, give and receive support. So share goals and struggles to strengthen bonds. So there is this idea in this self-improvement community that you should just not tell anyone anything, keep it all to yourself, and then just emerge as this giant. Again, there's a place for that too. Same thing with ghost mode. I've even made videos about that, and I do agree with that. I do really agree with that. If you look on my X profile, you'll see I talk about this all the time. But with that being said, there are, again, strategic people that you should share your goals and struggles with because they will help you and support you in your goals, And they will alleviate a lot of your struggles by giving you good advice or just saying, hey man, I'm here for you. If you want to talk about it, like I'm another brain that you can bounce ideas off of. And I can't tell you how many times I've done this and it's helped so much. Seriously, seriously. This is not just fluff. I'm serious. Okay. And it strengthens these bonds, which makes them even deeper. Back to that first point, right? Deepening your relationships. Cultivate empathy. Okay. So meaningful engagement with others creates purpose. It's really, really helpful if you guys can have a collective goal that you guys work on together, right? That's awesome. You know, if you're in a relationship and you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whoever's watching this, right? If you guys have goals outside of your relationship, not just spending time where you're having fun, of course, but like creating meaningful engagement, like where you guys can like together have like a goal that you're working on that you pursue together, that can help you create purpose because you're sharing this larger purpose with other people. And that's what empathy is, right? It's being able to step into the other person's shoes and like allow you both to have a similar feeling about something in the world. And when that's a shared goal, it's ridiculously easy. So practicing reflection and gratitude. Reflect regularly. So assess what brings meaning and joy in your life. This is super important because sometimes, you know, when I was younger, I thought that what I wanted to be was a lawyer. I didn't care what happened. I didn't care even really how much money I made. I kind of just wanted the title of a lawyer because I thought that made me cool or it made me whatever, right? I had some level of stature to it. Now, if I had stuck to that, I would not be happy at all because when I actually analyze what most lawyers end up doing, it's not the kind of things that I actually really enjoy. There's one or two elements, of course, that I like, but for the most part, it's not. So if you don't reflect regularly, sometimes your long-term goals kind of turn into a shackle, and you're shackled to this long-term goal that you never really reconsider because one day when you were younger, it was important to you and now it's no longer. So it is important to reflect regularly. Celebrate small wins. So again, we set these little checkpoints, right, between you and the cloth armor and fighting the dragon at the end, right? You have to celebrate when you hit those. You have to recognize moments of happiness and fulfillment, right? Recognize those and actually enjoy those. Because so many people are like, oh, nope, I just keep going. I keep going. Like, I don't have time for happiness. There was a guy I once knew who always said, yeah, I don't have time to be happy. Other people can be happy, but I'm too busy grinding, man. Right? It's like, okay, but what for? Like, that sounds cool when you're young and don't really know much. But then when you get a little bit older, it's like, okay, well, what are you even grinding for? Like, what is this for? Are you trying to make other people happy? Are you trying to make yourself happy? Because you're not even allowing yourself to be happy. So I hope you're making other people happy. But why would that even matter if you don't even take the time to enjoy the fact that they're happy? Doesn't make any sense. Even Tom Brady, right? One of the most accomplished athletes of all time. You can see him. He'll win the Super Bowl, and then he's not like, yep, I don't even celebrate. No, he's having a great time. Then there's pictures the next day of him like drunk on a yacht or whatever, right? And like him and Gronk, they're like drunk on a yacht. You can check it out. So everyone, and again, I say celebrate small wins. That's obviously a massive win, winning the Super Bowl. But along the way, of course, it's still important to be like, okay, cool, like let's celebrate this win. And however you celebrate it, you celebrate it. Doesn't need to be going to the club and getting absolutely wasted. It could be just ordering the little bit more, you know, the ribeye instead of the strip loin. You want the little bit more expensive steak, something like that, right? And then practice gratitude. This is a massive one because gratitude is like the antithesis to fear, which is actually interesting. If you're really scared of something, you think, oh, I'm not gonna achieve this, or this guy's gonna, you might be getting into a ring. This might be an intense example, you know, and you think, oh, this guy's gonna beat the crap out of me, kind of thing. It's like, but look, if you just become grateful for the opportunity to step into the ring and you focus on that, you're no longer quite as concerned about what the other guy might do to you, and you're a lot more calm. It's crazy the way your psychology affects your physiology, and then the cycle kind of continues. So foster positivity by appreciating what you have, right? There's a lot of people, and again, I hate to use this example because there's a lot of people, I used to hate this when I was younger when my mom would say this sort of thing. But, you know, there's people without roofs over their head. There are people without a single friend they can trust, right? There's people who know nothing. There's people who don't even have the wherewithal to watch a video like this that encourages them to improve their lives or at least appreciate their lives more. So again, gratitude and positivity are massive. Common pitfalls to avoid. Okay, so we're getting to the end. Chasing only success. Okay, so chasing only success, obviously a bad thing because what success means, like I said earlier, can constantly change. And so you don't want to lock yourself into some prison. So avoid placing material achievements above meaningful experiences. This is, again, something that's like so much more easily said than done because obviously like a lot of people want material because that's how they get a lot of the things that they really want, like I said at the beginning of the video, which is validation. But if you sacrifice meaningful experiences to get these things, you're going to look back and you're going to have a bunch of shiny things and that's it. You're not going to really care. You have no real lessons, maybe, you know, to pass down to your kids, if you even have kids, et cetera, et cetera. So like really like meaningful experiences. Again, this whole presentation is about how to find meaning in your life. You don't find it through, I mean, again, it's still cool having a nice sparkly watch or a really fast car. That's cool. But is that going to give your life a lot of meaning? Probably not. Next pitfall, neglecting growth. So ignoring self-improvement can lead to stagnation. So like have a system in your life where you continuously improve. Are you going to the gym regularly? Are you meditating regularly? Are you learning a language regularly? These are things that I talk about a lot. Learning an instrument, whatever it is. Have something, a system, or even stretching every day. Are you getting more flexible? Have a system where you're continuing to improve and improve. Isolating yourself. Obviously, huge, huge, huge pitfall. So overfocus on personal goals can limit fulfillment from relationships. So again, relationships, like we are social creatures. Aristotle told us this, right? We are social creatures. And so if we limit ourselves constantly from speaking with other people, we quickly become depressed. I mean, even consider one of the worst sort of tortures there are, which is like solitary confinement. All it is just you have no access to anything or anyone, right? And so, yes, go on your period, go on your villain arc of like, I don't talk to anybody and I just kind of grind. Do that, but don't do it forever. Okay. So this has been a kind of longer presentation, but a really important one. So let's just kind of cover quickly what we talked about. So a quick summary. Okay. Purposeful goals. This is how we find meaning in our lives. Okay. Align your goals with personal values for fulfillment. Figure what those are and then align your goals, which is a strategy, right? A goal is a strategy. So here's what I want to get to. And then you kind of reverse into a plan. You're like, what plan will get me to this goal? Okay. And have them align with your personal values. If it's not valuable to you to actually like drive a fast car and you just think it's kind of cool, but it's not actually super that valuable. Once you get it, you just get over it really quickly. Don't align your goals with it. Okay. Next, flow activities. Engage deeply in activities that absorb and challenge both. Okay. Next is growth through challenges. Use obstacles as opportunity for progress. Meaningful relationships. Nurture connections to increase life satisfaction. Pretty straightforward. Find people in your life that you care about and nurture those connections because they will continue to pay you in dividends. Okay. Then, sorry, I skipped 5. Then went straight to 6. Reflection and gratitude. Regularly reflect and show appreciation. Not really much more I can say. It just is a big cycle for you, big circle. So please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I love talking with you guys. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave you here with a quote, and here it is. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well, by Ralph Waldo Emerson, the great American philosopher. Okay, so my name is Spencer with Must Become. Thank you so much for watching. Always remember that your potential is your obligation, and what you can become, you must become. I'll see you in the next one.